Previously on the 2022 Equal Car Championship Grand Prix, we got Verstappen and Hamilton side by side heading into turn one, and it is lights out and away we go. Verstappen and Hamilton both get good starts. So does Charles Leclerc going side by side with Max Verstappen heading into turn one. Hamilton comes out in P1. Oh, even 1.5 laps ago. That is so unfortunate. Oh, and he just completely blocked Charles Leclerc, but him and Sainz do get around him right there. Brilliant job for them. Not to make any contact. Speaking of contact, looks like Lance Stroll just runs straight in the back of Lando Norris as he retired. Fernando Alonso hits Stroll, final corner, and the first time since Austin 2018, Kimi Raikkonen is going to win a Formula One Grand Prix. This video is sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped is my go-to below-the-waist trimmer, and they've recently released the Lawnmower 4.0. It contains the newest skin-safe technology for those special areas. The Lawnmower 4.0 also comes with an LED light for more precise trimming, different guard lengths, and it is waterproof. Use code CF120 for 20% off and free shipping. Once again, thank you Manscaped for sponsoring this video, and check out their website for other amazing products. Links in the description. Hello everybody, what's going on? CFRacing here guys, and welcome back to round 7 of the 2022 Equal Car Championship. Today guys, we are racing in Canada, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, my home track, because as you guys know, CF stands for Canadian Flash, and I am Canadian. So let's take a look at the driver standings going into round 7 in Canada. So leading the championship, no surprise, it is Max Verstappen, followed by Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel, Pierre Gasly in P4, great job for him, Daniel Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc, Kimi Raikkonen, Fernando Alonso, Carlos Sainz, and Lando Norris round off your top 10. From 11 to 20, we have Lance Stroll, Sergio Perez, Valtteri Bottas, George Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, Nikita Mazepin, Mick Schumacher, Antonio Giovinazzi, Esteban Ocon, and Nicholas Latifi finishes in dead last. Your constructor standings going into round 7 in Canada look like this. We have Red Bull on top with 120 points, followed by Aston Martin, the only team in triple digits with 100, Mercedes in P3, McLaren P4, Ferrari P5, AlphaTauri P6, Alfa Romeo P7, Alpine P8, Williams P9, and Haas in dead last. And now guys, it is time for the 2022 Canadian Grand Prix.
After yesterday's incredible qualifying, there's no doubt we're in for an intense race here in Montreal, and I think we're just about ready to begin. We'll be seeing top speeds of around 210 miles an hour here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 2/3 of the lap taken at full throttle. High-speed chicanes spell potential danger, especially at the infamous Wall of Champions, and watch out for overtaking into the hairpin and the final chicane. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are 3 main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness, and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Kimi Raikkonen and Sainz, Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Stroll and Pierre Gasly, Russell, Ricciardo, Sergio Perez and Norris, Mick Schumacher, Giovinazzi, Esteban Ocon and Yuki Tsunoda, Mazepin and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
We got the 5 red lights coming on to the 2022 Canadian Grand Prix, and it's a long 5 lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. Verstappen gets a great jump off the line, followed by Lewis Hamilton. Same with Sebastian Vettel. Leclerc looks like he jumped Carlos Sainz with Kimi Raikkonen in 6th, followed by Bottas side by side with, I believe that is Kimi Raikkonen or Lance Stroll in 7th. We got Leclerc and Sainz side by side. We got Bottas and Raikkonen side by side as well. We got Alonso and Lance Stroll side by side. We got Ricciardo and Russell side by side. Great action going into one of the first DRS zones so far onto this lap. There are no DRS zones so far in the first 2 laps, but they'll be on soon enough. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll once again are still side by side going into the first real overtaking zone. I believe this is into turn 8 or 9 over here. Looks like it's going to be a very interesting race so far. We go down the grid with Mick Schumacher in 13th, Perez 14th, Norris 15th. He had a terrible qualifying. Ocon 17th, Mazepin 18th, Yuki Tsunoda P19, and Nicholas Latifi in P20. Still going on to the back straight of the Canadian Grand Prix. We have Lewis Hamilton leading the Grand Prix right now with Verstappen in P2. It looks like Hamilton got a really good start to jump Max Verstappen. Brilliant job from the 7-time world champion right there. We got Max Verstappen who got a great exit out of the curve, out of the wall of champions there. Amazing job. And what's going on with Antonio Giovinazzi right over here? I didn't notice anything on the cameras. Looks like he has a puncture, I believe. Does he have a puncture? We're going to see when he comes into the pitch. Doesn't really look like it. No, he actually has wing damage over here. That is quite unfortunate for Antonio Giovinazzi. He was having a decent race so far, but now the wing damage over here is really going to take him out of contention in this race. That's quite unfortunate for him. Going on to lap 4 right now, we have a great battle between Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso. Looks like Alonso got a great exit out of the wall of champions over here, and he's going around the outside of Lance Stroll, going into turn 1 over here, which will switch back to the inside, go back to the outside. Brilliant move from the 2-time 2005 and 2006 world champion over the young Canadian in his home Grand Prix. On to lap 6, Max Verstappen looks like he finally got into the DRS of Lewis Hamilton over here, and he's going to be going down the DRS all the way down the back straight, probably through the wall of champions, and then going into turn 1 right here. I doubt he'll make a move now, but if he can get a good exit here, he could challenge into turn 1 right here, and he does get a good exit. Max Verstappen is right in the slipstream and DRS of Lewis Hamilton. He is going down the inside going into turn 1, which once again will switch to the outside of turn 2, and now Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton side by side into turn 2, going into turn 3, and Max Verstappen takes the lead of the Canadian Grand Prix on to lap 8. On lap 8, looks like Sebastian Vettel and along with all the other leaders are going to be making their pit stop for their first pit stop of the race. Very nice there. Looks like Carlos Sainz is going to stay out. Don't want to double stack the Ferraris there. That wouldn't be too good. Looks like Hamilton just jumped Max Verstappen in the pits once again. That has happened so many times this year. Vettel gets held up in the pits, so it looks like Charles Leclerc is going to jump him as well. That is quite unfortunate for both of the first and third place drivers of Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel there. Looks like Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton played that pit stop to perfection right there. We got Leclerc coming out in 14th behind Valtteri Bottas. Don't really know what happened to him. He's had a pretty horrid race so far. Going on to lap 21, Lewis Hamilton really extended his lead over Max Verstappen there as they go into the pits as well for their second and likely going to be their last pit stop. You never know, something could come up, obviously. Looks like Lewis Hamilton did get held up a little bit by Verstappen, but Verstappen was not close enough to actually jump him in the pits. We got Leclerc followed by pretty much the rest of the top 10. They're going to be boxing right now. Vettel goes into a spot, Leclerc goes into a spot, Raikkonen probably followed by Alonso, Norris, even Mick Schumacher, who's having a very great race so far. We got Pierre Gasly in the pits as well. Carlos Sainz is staying out. He's on mediums. He'll likely make another stop. But I don't think anything has changed here. We still have Leclerc, Vettel, Raikkonen, looks like Alonso, and then Pierre Gasly going over there. Looks like Charles Leclerc is actually going to jump Valtteri Bottas this time. Very good for him. He must have been a little bit quicker than Bottas was. I believe Bottas pitted a couple laps earlier, but Bottas does get out ahead of Vettel, which is really unfortunate for Sebastian Vettel there because he would like to be ahead. Going on to lap 22 now, Max Verstappen is going around the inside of Daniel Ricciardo into one of the lesser overtaking zones, gotta say. But great job from Max Verstappen there. Must have completely new tires compared to Daniel Ricciardo's old tires, but great job for Max Verstappen to get the move there. Looks like Lando Norris is going to go around the outside of Daniel Ricciardo, going into the hairpin corner, going into the back straightaway over here. Brilliant move by the young British driver on his teammate. Great respect for both of those two drivers right there. You definitely don't want to see a collision between the two McLarens. That would not be good for the team. I'm sure Zach Brown would very much hate that, and they would have a nice talking to. But who's going to break last? And it is Lando Norris. Oh, he comes into the pits. That is a little anticlimactic. What was the point on that? Whatever. Going to lap 32 now. Looks like George Russell has a mechanical failure. And oh, he hits Sergio Perez. Going into, well, I don't even know what corner this is called, but Sergio Perez just ran into, looks like George Russell just ran into Sergio Perez after he had a mechanical failure. I don't know what George Russell was doing. He could have just parked it, but he just goes right into the middle of the corner there and just clips Sergio Perez. Luckily, nobody really has damage here, but now, after their safety car was called out, and now the safety car is coming in, and Lewis Hamilton, with about 2 laps to go, is still leading the Canadian Grand Prix over here. We got Max Verstappen in P2, followed by Leclerc in P3. Brilliant race for him. Vettel P4, followed by Raikkonen, Alonso, Lance Stroll, Pierre Gasly, Sergio Perez, and Nikita Mazepin rounds out your top 10. Yes, you guys heard that right. Nikita Mazepin is in P10 in the Canadian Grand Prix right now. But all the focus is at the front of the grid right now, with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen really already pulling away from Leclerc and Sebastian Vettel. It really goes to show how far ahead in terms of just overall pace-wise right now, how far ahead Hamilton and Verstappen are compared to everybody else on this grid. Literally been half of a lap, and they already have like half of a second lead right there. That's absolutely insane. They also are booking and saving everything they got right now for this final stretch in the final 2 laps. Once again, there will be no DRS in these last 2 laps, as it takes 2 laps after a safety car period to reopen DRS. So Max Verstappen is going to have to, if Max Verstappen is going to make a move, he's going to have to do it just based off of slipstream, and it really doesn't look like that could be possible just looking at the straight line speed of that Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton is just so fast in a straight line. It is incredible what that Mercedes engine can do. But now we're going on to the final lap of the 2022 Canadian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton still leads us with Verstappen P3, Leclerc P4, followed by Kimi Raikkonen, Alonso, Lance Stroll, Pierre Gasly, Sergio Perez, Nikita Mazepin, Daniel Ricciardo, Mick Schumacher, Carlos Sainz, Antonio Giovinazzi, Yuki Tsunoda, Lando Norris, Valtteri Bottas, Nicholas Latifi, and Esteban Ocon in dead last. And actually, George Russell got disqualified from this race. That's quite unfortunate. He was DNFing anyway. But we are on to lap 35 right now, and this is Max Verstappen's last chance to take the win here in Canada. But it does not look like he's going to be able to do it. I just don't see, unless Lewis Hamilton makes a mistake in the last couple corners here, how Max Verstappen can overtake him. But Lewis Hamilton still has an 1/8 lead. That Mercedes is a very, very fast car today. And now we are entering into the hairpin for the final time, going down the big backstretch into the wall of champions. And it's looking like Lewis Hamilton is going to take the win today here in Canada, just like he did in 2019, even though we all know Sebastian Vettel clearly won that race. But going into the final corner, exiting on the wall of champions, Lewis Hamilton was completely unmatched today as he wins the 2022 Canadian Grand Prix with Max Verstappen P2, Leclerc finishes out the podium, Sebastian Vettel P4, Kimi Raikkonen P5, Alonso P6, Stroll 7th, and we got a drag race between Perez and Mazepin. Looks like Mazepin finished P9.
Oh, another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
And after round 7 in Canada, your driver standings look like this. Max Verstappen has a 10-point lead ahead of Lewis Hamilton going into round 8 next week, with Sebastian Vettel in P3, Pierre Gasly at P4, Charles Leclerc is very close to finishing in P4, but he is in P5, Ricciardo P6, Raikkonen P7, Alonso P8, Stroll P9, and Carlos Sainz in P10. From 11 to 20, we have Lando Norris, Sergio Perez, Valtteri Bottas, George Russell, Yuki Tsunoda, Nikita Mazepin, Mick Schumacher, Antonio Giovinazzi, Esteban Ocon, and Nicholas Latifi. In your constructor standings, Red Bull are still in first place with 139 points, followed by Mercedes with 124 and Aston Martin in third with 118, followed by Ferrari move up to P4, McLaren P5, AlphaTauri P6, Alfa Romeo P7, Alpine P8, Williams P9, and Haas in dead last. Once again, guys, thank you so much for all the support on this series, and with that being said, hope you guys did enjoy and have a great day.